r/AskReddit by Redmond Dts. What is the worst thing you ever saw on someone else's phone? Coworker showing me pictures of her kids. Suddenly, there's her butthole. When my husband changed my name in his phone from a pet name to my actual name. I knew we were growing apart, but that was a gut punch. Got a hand-me-down phone from my dad. Found nudes of my mom. In positions. Poo. A coworker was flipping through photos of his garden. He flipped too far. It was a picture of a giant loaf that his wife did. It was so big he had to take a picture of it. He wasn't wrong. That thing needed an episiotomy. A Tinder notification popped up on my dad's phone while he was showing me photos of my mom's birthday dinner. She was sitting right across the table, smiling at him. I've never felt so sick in my life. When I worked retail, we had a regular customer, maybe early 20s, who would come in and always search for me specifically to help him find the same 3 items. He would never speak and typed everything on his phone to communicate. It seemed mostly harmless at first, and I assumed he had a mental handicap of some sort, so I always happily helped him find the items he wanted, even though he'd come in for them before multiple times. Then again, I was really young and naive. One day, he found me folding clothes and held a conversation with me about a trip he just came back from. He wanted to show me photos of his vacation, so when he scrolled down his gallery, I spotted a photo album with my face as the cover. I had instant chills, but acted calm until he left and then notified security. Every time he came in after that day, I would wait in our employee-only area while security kept tabs on him. They soon caught him sneaking pictures of other staff and customers and banned him from the premises. I worked the Geek Squad desk in 2009 just out of college. This older guy came in and said he had issues with his phone. This is when smartphones were newer, so a lot of people bought the Geek Squad plan for support on them. He hated over the phone, and one of the techs took it into the back. The guy just sat in the tiny waiting area. In about 10 minutes, the tech calls me back and says that I need to page the general manager. The phone was chock full of nude pictures of children and worse. So we called the GM, and he immediately had loss prevention call the police and make sure the guy wouldn't leave. Once the police walked in, the guy started to panic. They arrested him right there, and he was mad, yelling at us that we had no business going through his phone. I have very similar stories from my time at Best Buy. At least 5 to 8 times in 3 years, we had to call someone about material found on PCs. I used to manage our company's iPhone fleet and would routinely find tabs of adult content of every conceivable flavor in Safari. I generally never said anything to management unless it was on their company computers. It got to the point where I would tell them, while standing in front of them, open Safari and close every tab before you hand me the phone. I don't understand how people are doing this. I've always assumed anything I do on a work computer or school computer can be seen by admin. Guy standing in front of me with his full cart, wife and 2 kids, in line for the self-checkout at Walmart, watching porn on his phone. It's my own fault for going to Walmart, really. Nothing crazy, but I watched a guy on the bus gambling on his phone. It was just sad seeing him lose over and over while knowing he's probably addicted. It's like those dystopian gifs of senior citizens hypnotized by the slot machines. He looked a bit rough too, so I'm sure he needed the money, which made it worse. I watched a coworker gamble his entire paycheck away on payday using an online slot machine on his phone. Then he asked to borrow $10 for cigarettes. On a plane there was a guy sitting in the row in front of me and 1 seat to the left, so I had a perfect view as he held his phone. This was an older guy who had font size and everything increased to at least 150%, so in my view the text and pics were as big as if I was looking at my phone. Throughout the entire flight, He was sexting with what I assumed was his wife or girlfriend, and getting very explicit too, like asking if she will drink his cum, wanting to taste her juice, typical stuff for a 70-year-old man to be texting. He gets pictures from this woman he is texting, and there are numerous titty pictures of her vagina, but the pics looked kinda washed, like there is an obvious filter to them. Then I noticed the clothes weren't the same in the pics, so clearly they were from different times. The texts from the woman were written in more and more broken English, and after she asked him to send her 1,000 Philippine pesos, I realized this guy's getting scammed for money. She asked money for groceries, told him to download Gcash to send it to her. So he downloaded the app and proceeded to do so. Best part is, he had several WhatsApp conversations going with other women and saying the same explicit stuff to them too. In between the sex talk, he was posting on Facebook, arguing with people about Canadian politics, complaining about Canada providing assistance to Ukraine, and insulting other people. That was my entertainment for the whole 4-hour flight. Didn't watch my downloaded Netflix movies. Thanks, horny angry old man. This wasn't on someone's phone, but one time we were over at my non-tech savvy friend's house for dinner, and they had an Apple TV on their living room TV. Back then they had a screensaver feature that would show a collage of pics from their Photos app. Well, as you can imagine, all of these vacation pictures with the kids, first day of school, holiday pics, with a smattering of shots of his wife mixed in. They were both clueless. Phineas and Ferb porn, when trying to search some things on my father's phone. I was around 10 at the time. CP. I wanted to simultaneously poke out my eyes while also beating the shit out of the guy whose phone it was. And yes, I reported them. Same thing. About 5 of us were hanging out on. One of the guys accidentally put his phone down with a pic of him molesting his kids. We all saw it and gave him a good few slaps while one of us called the cops. He was arrested on the spot because we were able to show the cops the evidence. None of us got in trouble for knocking his lights out. We all knew him for about 20 years, and it was a complete surprise. None of us had spoken to him from that day. Cops raided his place and found thousands of CP images. He even shared images of his own kids with strangers. Sick fudge. 1 in 4 girls, and I believe 1 in 9 boys, are victims of this in the United States. We all associate with people who are secretly molesting their children or siblings and never know. Probably more than one. I'm a vet. One time I was performing a euthanasia on a dog, which can be an incredibly heartbreaking yet beautiful experience. Owners will often show old photos of their pet to me in the quiet moments after they have passed, as they reflect on the beautiful memories they shared over the years. In this case, the dog had passed away peacefully, and the owner wants to show me a cute photo from when she first adopted him. Immediately swipes to a full zoomed in view of her asshole, as I used every semblance of strength to pretend I hadn't noticed. She then tried quickly swiping to the next photo, which unfortunately was the same angle, only more zoomed in. My wife and I went on the bus, and the guy in front of us was like 20 years old, looking out of college class, and he was watching foot job porn on the bus, LMAO. I was backing up the photo library on my mom's phone to my dad's computer after she passed away. The last picture she took was a selfie in the hospital, in her bed, looking awful, tubes coming out of everywhere, but she was smiling. I barely held it together, and then completely lost it on the car ride home. Edit. Thank you for all the kind words. It's been 7 years, so doing much better. Also, screw cancer. My son's darn pic, when he was a freshman in high school. He had sent it to a girl. I handled the situation with grace, but it ranks up there with one of the most awful parenting experiences. A co-worker in his 50s strolled up to me and shows me a picture his wife sent him. It's a close-up vague shot, but clearly of a much younger woman, having seen his wife before. he wanders off, and I assume it was just some sketchy porn, and he's trying to somehow impress me or something. Turns out he'd been raping his oldest daughter for years, and it was hers. He got caught when he moved on to the younger daughter, and finally the older one finally reported it. He's currently serving a long ass prison stretch, and I can only hope he doesn't live to see freedom again. That's all folks. Thank you for watching. If you like videos like this one, why not like and subscribe for more? Have a nice evening.